How many people in the U.S. have died from COVID?
Too many.
Number.
Are you on number?
Yeah.
In the U.S.?
Yeah.
Let's go with like 100 million maybe.
100 million?
What's up, guys? Nuance Bro checking in. So over the holidays, I was in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I went to the city of San Francisco to ask people questions about COVID stats and things like that. So we're going to get to that video in a bit. I just wanted to explain where I got the idea. So I got the idea from some polling and articles from the New York Times and Gallup, respectively. This article, COVID's Partisan Errors, and Gallup, U.S. Adults Estimates of COVID-19 Hospitalization Risk. And we're going to get back to those articles at some point in the video, but I hope you watch the video all the way through, because after I ask everybody all those questions, we're actually going to get into the data of their answers and see which group. Was it the masked people that were the most accurate? Was it the unmasked people who were the most accurate in their answers? You'll get to see that, so stay tuned and enjoy the show. What's up, guys? Nuance Bro checking in. We're here in San Francisco, California at Union Square. Let's go talk to people and see if they know their COVID stats.
By the way, guys, I'm going to wear a mask when I go up to the masked people to ask them, so I just seem like more friendly, and we can kind of fly under the radar a little bit. All right, so first question, are you vaccinated?
No.
No? Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I'm vaccinated.
No.
No? Oh, interesting.
Yes. Yes.
How many people have died of COVID in the United States?
I have no idea.
Yes.
A lot of millions, thousands.
Oh, I'd say a million.
Can you say another 15 minutes?
I'm not good at math.
No, so
6 million.
Are you gonna
6 million.
I have no idea.
any guesses potentially?
50,000? I don't know.
A lot.
A million.
A million? What'd you say?
Probably more than a million, I feel like. No?
Yeah. 2 million.
2 million. I have to be specific. All right. Yeah, 2 million.
3 million?
I think it's something about like 2 million.
What would you say?
I'd say around 2 million.
Let's go with like 100 million maybe.
100 million?
That's a little high, probably 100,000. Let's go 100,000.
So you're a third of the population.
100,000.
100,000? Okay.
Maybe 400,000.
I think we're at the, 3 million?
Around almost 800,000.
Okay.
It's around 800,000. Your first guess was closer. It's almost 800,000.
Yeah, I knew it was something like Vietnam.
All right.
Not quite as much. More than Vietnam. Yeah.
800,000.
800,000. Okay.
Okay.
I know. I think 2 million is maybe like the people that have gotten it but not have died yet.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's way more. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Almost 800,000.
Okay.
Okay. So.
I might be thinking who got sick.
Next one. So of that roughly 800,000, how many of them do you think were under the age of 18?
Ooh, I'd say about maybe 10%.
What's it, 80,000?
Yeah. No, maybe less.
You
Yeah.
think it's the same as that? Or?
I'm gonna stick with her.
Okay.
Like 20,000, 30,000.
Probably about a third.
20.
Oh, 20 people? Yeah.
20 people total?
Yeah.
And what would you say?
Oh, if I can change my answer, 400.
Around 3,000. I would like to say a very small amount.
I'm gonna say a quarter, so like maybe 200,000.
I'm gonna say like 18%.
18%. So that's
What number is?
Like 150,000?
Yeah.
150,000.
Maybe half.
So 400,000?
Yeah, maybe.
We're at about 1,500.
I would say more. 2,500.
Let's say it's all like 30%.
30%. So
Yeah.
what, like 200?
Let's say 250. Let's say
250?
Yeah.
It's around 600.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's surprising.
Okay. 600 people.
600 people. Wow.
600 people.
Is that really?
Yeah.
I just heard that went up. It's just only 600 people?
It's right around 600, yeah.
Wow. I'm not doing really good.
It's 600 just period.
Oh, dang, bro.
Yeah. 600 just total. Just
That's it? Just
yeah,
600?
Just 600.
So you know more than me.
Well, I'm asking the question. So. For the average unvaccinated person, if they get infected, what is their percentage chance of being hospitalized?
I'd say 60%.
I'm gonna stick with her.
Okay.
60%?
I'm vaccinated, getting sick. I don't know, 50%?
50%.
32%.
80?
I'm going to say like 70%.
I'll also say 70%.
If you're a regular unvaxxed person, isn't it like 99 or like almost everyone?
Well, you're supposed to be in here. 0.06.
I would go 60%.
40%.
Pick a number.
30%.
Less than 1%.
Hard to believe.
Is that surprising to you?
Very.
Now hold on, I want to just pause here real quick because in the video you see me say the answer as less than 1%. Now I have to admit, this is kind of an error on my part, maybe sort of, not really, but I still felt the need to correct the record, even though it's not completely off. We'll get into it. So going back to the article I referenced earlier, this is from the New York Times, COVID's Partisan Errors. The question that they asked was, what are the chances somebody with COVID must be hospitalized? Now, notice it doesn't say unvaccinated or vaccinated, but be aware this Franklin Templeton Gallup Economics of Recovery study. This was a study starting with a survey of 10,000 US adults in July and 5,000 each month through December. This was a time where the vaccines weren't available for the general public, so the data between 1 and 5% that you see here would have been pretty much all unvaccinated people. Now, where the less than 1% figure entered my head was from this Gallup poll, US adults' estimates of COVID-19 hospitalization risk. And if we scroll down, we can see how the public understands hospitalization risk. For both vaccinated and unvaccinated populations, very few adults reported a correct answer, which is less than 1%. So they're saying the correct answer for risk of hospitalization, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, is less than 1%. But that doesn't mean what they're measuring is someone who's infected and their risk of hospitalization. They're talking about risk of hospitalization at all in the population. Because if you scroll up and look at the question that they asked, as far as you know, what percentage of unvaccinated people have been hospitalized due to the coronavirus? So this includes people who were never infected in the first place. And of course, based on the data that we know, that is less than 1%. And in this data set, only 2% of Democrats got that answer correct, whereas 16% of Republicans did and 11% of independents did. But here's the thing, is less than 1% still an incorrect answer? Maybe, but maybe not. It's very close to that range, actually. Let's look at some recent CDC data, for example. As we can see here from Oregon and Washington between July 4th and September 25th, 2021, we can see that the hospitalization rate for those infected with COVID-19 and who were unvaccinated was twice as high as those who were vaccinated. And keep in mind, there are things like age-related factors involved in this, and they're not controlling for everything. But of course, the question was involving the rates today for the average person that's infected with COVID who's unvaccinated. One thing we do know, though, is that the hospitalization rate is always going to be higher than the actual fatality rate. So to get an idea of the fatality rate, let's look at what the global fatality rate is, infection fatality rate is for COVID. And we can see if we scroll down in this study, that the IFR is at about 0.15%. We can see that here, 0.15% with 1.5 to 2 billion infections as of February 2021. But that's globally, of course. Global fatality rates could be lower than the American fatality rates. So to get an idea of the fatality rate in the United States, let's look at this. We can see back in late November of 2020, they said government model suggests US COVID-19 cases could be approaching 100 million. We can see from this Nature study, for example, that by the end of 2020, population susceptibility to the virus was at about 69%, which indicates that about 1/3 of the population had been infected by then. That's over 100 million people. And we can see that here as well, referencing the Nature article, more than 100 million people. Also mentioned in this Public Health Columbia article, over 100 million people, 1 in 3 Americans already had COVID-19 by the end of 2020. And in this Nature study, you can see for the US, the infection fatality rate fell to 0.3% by year's end. And again, this is before the vaccine had its major rollouts. And the way we get these numbers, as you can see, by the end of 2020, you had about 352,000 deaths that were recorded as a result of COVID. If you have over 100 million infections, you put 352,000 in there, you get around a 0.31% infection fatality rate. So we're going to do some weird math here because the numbers are all over the place. They don't have consistent numbers for the amount of hospitalizations since the beginning of 2020 to the end of 2020. They really didn't start tracking hospitalizations until around July for the most part is where you start getting the accurate data. But if we scroll down, we can see here from August 2020 through July 2021, there were 2.4 million US hospitalizations for COVID-19. So one thing we can look at here, for example, from the Commonwealth Fund, death and hospitalizations averted by rapid US vaccination rollout. And if we scroll down, we can see them say here, without a vaccination program by the end of June 2021, there would have been approximately 279,000 additional deaths and up to 1.25 million additional hospitalizations. As you can see, the estimated additional hospitalization number is about 4 to 5 times higher than the death number. And generally what we've seen from hospitalizations, of course, sometimes it goes up, it goes down, but generally we've seen somewhere around a 20% rate of the hospitalizations leading to death. This is for the unvaccinated, by the way, back last year in 2020. So doing some backwards math here, we know that in 2020, there were 352,000 recorded deaths. If we give that a multiple of 4 or 5, you get around 1.5 million. And with over 100 million Americans that had been infected with COVID by the end of 2020, you get a hospitalization rate of about 1.5% or so. And again, that's older data. We had less people with natural immunity, less people vaccinated. We also had variants that were stronger than some of these newer variants, like Omicron, for example, where we already see in places like South Africa that it is milder than the Delta virus. You can see here only about 30% of those hospitalized with COVID-19 in recent weeks have been seriously ill, less than half the rate as during the first weeks of previous pandemic waves. And just 3% of patients hospitalized recently with COVID-19 have died versus about 20% in the country's earlier outbreaks. So already with newer variants, you're seeing lower hospitalization rates, lower death rates, even with the vaccines providing less protection than previous pandemic waves. So it is a big deal that I said less than 1% instead of 1.5%, or just to be safe, less than 5%. I guess I'll let you guys decide that one, but just keep that in mind as we play the rest of this video.
It's less than 1%.
Really? I mean, that shows you what I know.
Is that surprising to you?
Yes, very surprising.
It's less than 1%.
Really?
Is that surprising?
Yeah. No, that really...
honestly, it's not surprising.
Why? Less than 1%?
I don't know.
Chance of being hospitalized?
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like there's so many people in the hospitals, with COVID, you would think that it would be more than 1%. I don't know, because the hospitals are full right now.
It's less than 1%.
Oh, if you got the vaccine or don't have the vaccine?
No, unvaccinated.
Oh, unvaccinated. Wow, okay, yeah.
Is that surprising to you?
Yeah.
Well, it's less than 1%. I can say that. So he's actually kind of close. So there you go.
He watches the news, I don't.
There you go. He should have been in here.
Yeah, I don't watch the news.
I just know my shit.
All right. She's the closest. It's less than 1%.
Oh, okay.
Is that surprising to you guys?
That is.
Okay. By the way, guys, do you recognize this? This is the Louis Vuitton that got looted just a few days ago, actually. So, we're out here, we're asking people questions. If you support the channel and want to support more content like this, be sure to go to nuancebro.com/join if you want to support the channel and get extra content that's not available for the general public. We really appreciate it, and it helps out a lot. Thank you. All right, guys, so we asked the masked people. We found out some of them were unvaccinated, but we saw the answers from them. Let's see if there's any difference when we ask the unmasked people, outside albeit, what their answers would be. Let's go check it out. Question 1, are you vaccinated?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. 3 times. Wow, you got the booster. Okay.
Yes.
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 Absolutely.
All right, cool.
And twice and
And the booster?
yes.
Yes.
Yes. I am not.
Question 2, how many people in the United States have died from COVID?
400,000.
I don't know about United States, but somewhere around 100,000. I don't know.
You say worldwide or United States?
United
I'm gonna
States.
say around 250,000.
100,000.
I don't know, but I had COVID and I lived.
But how many would you guess, numbers-wise?
I don't know.
Above a million, below a million?
I don't know.
500,000.
600,000.
500,000.
Isn't it like 500,000? In the United States, 250,000.
Not enough.
Well, do you have a number?
Not as many as they would like you to believe.
What's
Maybe
the numbers they say?
3,299.
600,000.
Couldn't tell you. Neither could I.
Take a guess, numbers. Oh, you can't help. You're not in the video.
10,000. I was gonna go upwards of like 300,000, but I guess I'm wrong.
Almost 800,000. It's almost 800,000.
Okay.
She's closer. It's about 800,000.
In the United States?
Yes.
I thought that was worldwide.
No, worldwide's a lot more. It's in the millions.
All right, now I'm embarrassed.
No, you guys are fairly close. It's almost 800,000 is what they say.
Right.
So of the people who have died under the age of 18, how many would you guess have died under the age of 18?
Not too many. It doesn't seem to affect the young people too much. Only if you have like problems, then it kind of gets you.
Would you guess a number?
I don't know.
Almost 800,000. How many have died? 100.
Like 50,000?
Yeah, like less than 5% or like less than 50,000.
Under 18, I'd say maybe 50,000.
30%.
Under the age of 18, less than 5%.
Listen, you got a number in particular?
A number in particular? So what would that be? That'd be, I don't know, 20,000.
7,000?
250,000.
7,000?
Yeah. I would say like 100,000.
Probably 102.
8%.
So maybe what, like 65,000, 70,000?
Yeah.
I would probably say 60,000. 10,000.
It's around 600.
600. Yeah, all right.
It's 600. Around 600. It's around 600 or so.
Okay.
It's 600.
600.
Around 600.
Wow.
600.
600.
Just 600.
Oh, 600. Oh.
Period.
Period.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's pretty low.
That is.
Around 600.
600?
Yes.
Okay, wow.
Close. About 600 or so.
600?
Yeah. Around that.
Well, what disease did they have to have gotten COVID?
We don't know. So usually, a
that's-
lot of times there is comorbidities involved, for sure. If you are the average unvaccinated person and you contract COVID, what is your percentage chance of being hospitalized?
Hospitalized? If you're not, if you're obese, I'd say average person.
And
Two unvaccinated. Hospitalized, 5%.
30%.
I'll say 20%.
Average unvaccinated person who gets COVID, chances of being hospitalized? 30%.
If you had to guess.
Maybe 15%.
40%.
3%.
10%.
20%?
Wait, we just thinking everybody or what age group?
Average person.
Probably 23%.
Well, I'm hoping 100%.
You just want people to die.
Yeah. We've got too many people here.
But what do you think, other than hoping, what do you think is the actual percentage chance?
Probably 40%.
10%.
I would say 4%.
35%.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
Okay.
Is that surprising?
Yeah.
That's pretty surprising. Yeah.
Less than 1%.
Ah,
Is that surprising?
it is. I should have gone lower.
It's less than 1%.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that surprising?
No, not really, because I think people have God-given immune systems and we're just not taking that into consideration, you know. I mean, my immune system is incredible. I had it tested and I still have tons of antibodies, and it was a year ago and I was around someone who had COVID for a whole week in the middle of them being very sick and I didn't get sick. So, yay for natural immunity.
Yay for natural immunity. All right.
Yeah.
Less than 1%. You're close though. Close. All right. Is that surprising to you guys?
That surprises me. Yeah.
No, I think I read that. I think I knew it was around that. Yeah. Wasn't a guess.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
Is that surprising to you?
It is surprising. Yeah.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
Is that surprising to you guys?
Yes. Yes.
Not really, no. I have a couple of friends that have COVID right now and they're fine.
He's closer. It's less than 1%.
Wow.
Is that surprising?
Yes.
All right.
Wow.
That's it. That's all the questions.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Awesome. It's less than 1%.
Less than 1% if you've been vaccinated.
No,
Yeah,
unvaccinated.
unvaccinated.
So average unvaccinated person, if they contract COVID, their chance of being hospitalized at the moment is less than 1%. Is that surprising to you?
Yeah, it really is. I thought it was much higher than that because when they're unvaccinated, they usually get pretty sick. And I had it, and you really do get sick.
Yeah.
It's not.
Did you go to the hospital?
No.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, check that out. Let's go ice skating outside, buddy.
Now onto the stats that I compiled of the answers of the people in my video to see how close they matched the actual answers and how far apart they were from each other, masked, unmasked, etc. But I want to mention these weren't cherry-picked people. I wasn't cherry-picking here. It's not like I did 50 million more people that I interviewed and I'm only selecting the ones that match whatever conclusions I'm trying to reach here. I think there were only a couple of groups that I didn't include for various reasons. For example, there was a group where I was interviewing a guy who was masked and there was an unmasked guy, and that kind of complicated the data. Also, I think I might have interviewed more of one group than the other, so I wanted to kind of match up the numbers, like I guess 9 groups versus 9 groups, or however many it came up to be in the end. There was one lady who didn't really speak English, so I couldn't communicate with her as well, and she was a foreigner, so it didn't really make sense. And there was another one who was kind of old and faculties weren't all there, and I felt kind of bad putting that in. So there was a few things like that, but outside of that, I just picked the videos that we shot, and that's who's in the video. All right, so for the total perceived deaths from COVID-19, we can see the actual number here is at around 800,000. We can see the unmasked group over here, the masked group way overestimated. And just to get a better sense of these numbers here, we can see the average answer for the unmasked group was 316,000, and the average number given by the masked people was 2.3 million. So in this case, the unmasked people were a lot closer to the actual answer than the masked people. Now we go to the COVID-19 deaths for those under the age of 18, and we can see here the actual number is at around 600. And again, the unmasked group was closer to the actual answer than the masked group. And to give you again a better sense of the actual data here, and we have this in log scale. So the average answer for the unmasked people was 66,300, whereas the masked people were almost double the answer of the unmasked people at around 111,000. And here we have the unvaccinated that were infected, diagnosed with COVID-19, and the perceived hospitalization rate. And again, this actual is at less than 1% in this graph, but again, less than 5%, between 1 and 5%, whatever you want. And we can see once again, the unmasked people were a lot closer to the actual answer than the masked group. And just for better visualization here, we can see that the average answer for the unmasked people in my video was 20.4% for the perceived hospitalization rate, whereas the masked people were at an average of 54.4%, when the actual answer for the hospitalization rate for unvaccinated people who are infected with COVID-19 is certainly less than 5%, and probably closer to 1%.
All right, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Social media links are in the description box below. We're gonna cut this. As well as merch. Support us at nuancebro.com/join, and I'll see you next time, bro.